Hello, this is Neferkefri, the Positive Vibes Artist. I'm here today working on a journal cover, and I had an idea for it, and I wanted to show you what I'm doing in case your stickers are doing what my stickers are doing. Okay, now this is an inexpensive traveler's notebook. Yeah, I don't know, it's from China, and it came with an inexpensive traveler's notebook that I bought. And I am moving this into another traveler's notebook. This is going to be a 3-notebook set, and the first notebook will be to keep track of my Patreon. So this is going to be the Patreon notebook. And what I noticed with the pet stickers, they are coming up. And the reason they're coming up is because the cover has a little bit of texture to it. The cover is pretty much textured like watercolor paper. Okay, so it's got some very faint crevices in it, and actually if I had thought about it ahead of time, I could have done a watercolor painting on the cover instead of this. And I kind of wish now I had done it, but I really like the way it turned out. This graphic of Elizabeth Taylor as Cleopatra, it comes from one of my all-time favorite movies. It is also a Wiki Commons image. It's public domain. One of the very few pictures of her that is public domain, and it's sold in a kit by Little Joys of Bujo. I am going to link to her below, to her Instagram and her Etsy shop. She has the best digital kits I have ever seen. They're all like 10 to 12 pages long, and they come with full size, 5¼ by 8 inch for your A5 journals. They come with smaller ephemera. They come with washi strips. I mean, she has everything in her kits. They are amazing. And this is her Egyptian kit. I forget the name of the kit. I believe it's Queen of the Nile, but don't quote me on that. But you'll see it at her Etsy when you check it out. Now, this pet tape I also bought on Etsy from another shop, and it's really great, except it will not adhere to this cardstock cover. It keeps coming up. You see that? Not good, right? So I had the bright idea to get a roll of clear packaging tape and basically laminate the cover, because I do have a cold laminating machine. I can't put this through the laminator, because I would have to take out the paper, and it's actually, for an inexpensive insert, is really nice because it's sewn in. So I definitely do not want to take this apart. So I thought I'd go ahead and lay the tape. Now, what I do first, there's a couple of tips for doing this, and that's why I'm making the video, because I've laminated stuff with packaging tape a lot over the years, before I had my laminator. The thing is with packaging tape, when you go to peel it off the roll, it's going to have some marks on it from where it comes up off the roll initially. You see that? If you can see that line there on the tape right here. And you don't want that on your artwork. And so you'll just continue to pull it up until the line, you see these lines? I don't know if you can see them, but they're there. Until these lines stop showing up and you start getting a clear tape. And then you just go ahead. Actually, I'm getting quite a few of these. Sometimes it'll do that. So I will just double it up on itself so I can grab the tape better. And I'll just keep pulling until those lines stop showing up. It could be that I just have a crappy roll of packaging tape here, because now it's not wanting to work. Okay, here we go. Here we go. And see, now I don't have the lines. I pull out enough to cover the insert cover, and then always remember to push your tape under these little bits of plastic there, or it's going to be really difficult to get the tape off the roll. And then you just turn the tape over and carefully place it. I've already laid a strip of tape along the edge before I got the bright idea to make this video, so I'm going to go ahead and start at about here. It's important to also get the tape to line up against the edge of each piece that you're putting on your journal. See how the cat's butt was coming up there for a second? So I definitely have to cover this with tape, or it's going to be a mess. You got to get the tape, your next strip of tape, to go right up against the edge of the first strip. Otherwise, if you layer them, if you let them overlap, you're going to see those lines on your cover. And you don't want that. Whereas if you can get it to match up pretty close, it will protect the stickers, keep everything adhered to the cover, and you won't see those lines on the journal cover. So now I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do this. And you got to hold the tape pretty taut because you don't want it to form any air bubbles. And then you hold it up at the opposite end and you just work your way up while you're pulling on the opposite end of the tape. This will prevent any air bubbles, and it will also ensure that the ephemera you have on here that covering up is staying put. Okay? Then you go ahead and flip your cover over, and now you're going to deal with the other side of the tape. And I see my tape has picked up something. Oh, okay, I got it off. Yay. All right, then what you do is you just trim it. Now, it depends. If you're going to also decorate the inside of your cover, you do not want to take the tape and simply bring it all the way over and slap it down because, you know, it's slick. If you want to paint or draw or use markers on here, you won't be able to. So I go ahead and trim it to pretty much, I just trim it to 1/4 inch with my scissors. That is if they will cut. I'm kind of working at a weird angle here because I'm trying to film this. Okay, and then I just fold it over. And what this will do, you try not to get anything on your tape when you're doing this. I will stick some ephemera up there and it won't be noticeable. But what this also does, it shores up the edge of your insert so it won't get frayed. And you can go ahead also for the piece along the edge. I didn't think about it for the first piece when I laid it, but you could go ahead and lay it to where it overhangs, and then you snip the tape at a diagonal. You fold a little bit of the top and the bottom over, and then you take the edge and fold it over, and you will also shore up and support that edge. So as you're using your insert, you know, throughout the month or however long you use it, the edge will not get frayed. I'm going to go ahead and put another little extra bit of tape there to shore up that edge, and I'll do that on camera too, so you can see me probably cuss when I don't get it on there straight. But yeah, you just trim it to about 1/4 inch. The tape may rip like it did there, and just go in and trim off that little bit of excess. And then you fold the tape over. And voila. And see, they are, I don't know if you can see from the reflection or not, but they are pretty much in perfect alignment with each other, edge to edge. And that's so important because then you won't see much of that line there. And as I go back and smooth it out, that line will disappear even more. You can go ahead and get the edge of your scissor handle if they are plastic. If you're using scissors with a metal handle, I recommend you get something that's plastic because plastic is a lot softer than metal, and because you don't want to scratch up the tape. And you just drag it across, and this is going to flatten the tape even more. And then you'll go ahead and place that final strip. Now, when you place the final strip on your insert, ideally what you should do is, since there's only about 1/2 inch here, and this is 2-inch wide tape, well, I assume it's 2 inches. It looks 2 inches. You go ahead and let it lay over this side. And so when you go to flip it on the end, I'll show you. We're going to snip it from top and bottom, and we're going to flip it along the inside, and then we're going to turn it around and adhere it to this part of the spine. That will protect the spine of your insert as you're using it. And so it won't fall apart on you. Guaranteed. So once again with the tape, you just take it, start peeling it. Remember, we don't want to see any lines on the tape. Oh man, this roll is a problem. There we go. And you just basically keep peeling it until you get a bit that doesn't have any lines on it. And then all this excess up here, just fold it in on itself. And it'll also give you an easier way to handle the tape, because you won't be putting your fingers on the sticky adhesive side. Packaging tape. The joys of packaging tape. Am I right or am I right? Okay, now we're going to be laying this final strip that is going to cover the last of the front of the insert, and will cover the back edge to protect the spine. So once again, you've got to really try. I got to move this stuff or it's going to get on the tape. Okay, I wasn't prepared for this video. Usually my table is clean and clear of clutter, but I kind of did this on the fly because I got the idea while I was working on this, and I've got something stuck right on the edge of the tape. Oh man. Let's see if I can get it off. No, I can't get it off. Oh, okay, well, I'll move a little bit further down. I'm going to go ahead and unfold some of this over up at the top because it's just getting too long now to handle. And be sure you're not touching the sticky side, because otherwise your fingerprints will get on there. And when you lay the tape and you go to flatten it, you're going to see your prints. Okay? Now again, we get this side of the edge of the tape to line up with the edge of the tape already on the insert. I have to make sure the sticker is stuck down because this one was really coming up badly. And then we bring it in, match it up as best you can, and lay it down. And there you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim it in length, and then we'll be making our little special cuts here to get it to fit on the cover properly. If you're wondering about my tabletop here, it is a card table, and this is contact paper I put on it. And it's really good because for crafts, it's a very easy, quick cleanup. So I really like it. And you may want to consider doing something similar to your work area. See, the tape comes right up off that contact paper. Okay, now you go ahead and open your insert. Be careful that the tape doesn't lay down on the back of the insert, okay? Also be careful not to be touching the insert. Again, I got something on it. Okay, that's the non-sticky side. Then you're going to take it and cut it just to the edge. And I'll do the other side, and I will be sure that that's on camera. I'm not sure the first cut was. So you're just cutting perpendicular to the edge to the spine. There you go, just right up to the spine. If my hand will stop shaking. And of course it doesn't want to cut. There we go. All right. So go ahead now and close your insert, and then just from the spine, just press directly on the spine itself. Okay, you want to be sure the tape really adheres to the spine, so that spine will remain protected pretty much forever. Okay, so once you're sure that the tape is adhered to the spine, you've made your little cut on either end, you now lay your insert down, and starting from the middle, again, work along the spine and just push, 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 adhere that tape, and then go up a little bit more. And there you go. I would have trimmed it, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to put washi here anyway. So I'm not concerned about painting or drawing on this part of the insert. But you may want to go ahead and trim it lengthwise before you fold it over if you're thinking of doing some sort of artistic rendering on the back of the insert. And then you just open it up and you trim off that tape. Open up the front cover first. This is why we made these slits, you see? And then you just fold that little piece over and stick it to the inside of the front cover. Same for the bottom. Fold over, stick it down. And now we have the edges of the front insert protected, except for that first edge, because I didn't think to do that at first, but I'm going to go back here in a second and do that. And I'll do it on camera so you can see me struggle. And then you do the same in the back. Just bring it over and down. And there you go. And then once you've decorated the back of your insert, if that's what you're going to do, again, you can use the packaging tape method to also protect the back. If you have no plans for decorating the back, then I would recommend going ahead and laying the packaging tape anyhow, just so the edges of your insert don't become frayed with use. Now, speaking of frayed edges, I'm going to go back here and redo this front edge. Now, this is where it gets tricky. I already have tape on here, and so it's going to create a line because the tape is going to be layered on top of itself. And I'm just going ahead and smashing it down really well, again, to get any air bubbles out and to be sure all these stickers are flat, flat, flat against the surface of the insert. Okay. And you can kind of see a little bit of a line here, but you know, it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but I mean, the image is protected and none of this stuff's going to come off. I mean, it was just the stickers that were the problem, these pet stickers. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut another strip of packaging tape and lay it along this edge, and then do the snips up the top. I'm going to trim along the edge here because I probably will be decorating. I know I will be decorating the inside of the insert. So I do not want too much of a tape overlay. I'll be putting a washi along the edges, so I'm not concerned about this little bit of overlay along the top or the bottom. And I want to be sure the overlay along this edge is not going to be any wider than the overlay across the top and bottom. So go ahead with the packaging tape once again. And again, you want to keep pulling it just so you don't see any marks. And that worked out really well. I don't have to waste very much tape here. Okay. Now, you look at your design, okay? What I could do, because I know that this tape's going to create a line, a visible line on my cover, what I could do is I could bring the edge of the tape up to the edge of the picture of Elizabeth here, and then the line would be basically down this way. Or, looking at these stickers, I could bring it up to where the line is pretty much even with these stickers. So it's based upon your design. When you're doing something like this, you forgot to put some tape on an area, and now you know you have to do an overlay, a double layer of tape. It's a judgment call. And so you have to decide, am I going to want the line coming down, being visible up here and down here, or along here? And because I have all this white area here, I'm going to opt to bring the tape in this far. And that way it'll be less visible because I've got this pet sticker down here and this scrapbook. This is actually from that same digital kit from Little Joys of Bujo. And again, I will link to her down below in the description. And Heather is so talented. I just love her kits. Now we lay it down just as best you can. And this will be pretty easy because you already have tape on there, and tape adheres to itself very well. Typically, you won't have problems with air bubbles forming or anything. You see how nice that went down? That was like no hassle whatsoever. And then you'll go ahead and trim it across the top. And again, I'm keeping it to about 1/4 of an inch. I wasn't even cutting the tape. My scissors were on top of it. I couldn't tell. Oh my gosh. It's awful when you get old, my friends. Plus, I need new glasses. Okay. All right. And again, lifting that up off my contact covered paper, and I go ahead and again trim along the bottom edge to 1/4 of an inch. Then I turn it over, and basically I'm just gonna trim along the edge here, because again, I don't want that much of an overhang of tape on the inside of the cover of the insert, because I want to decorate it later. So I'm just deciding, I want pretty much, I think this much, again, about 1/4 of an inch overlay. So I'm going to go ahead, actually I'm going to switch to a larger pair of scissors. It'll be easier. And now the scissors are beneath the tape. I'll get it right eventually. Here we go. And depending on what you're going to do with the inside of the insert, you know, it doesn't have to be trimmed absolutely perfect. Just do this slowly, because, you know, with packaging tape, as you cut it, it can sometimes start to split, and the split will go off at an angle, and it could go right toward the insert, and then you end up with this cut in your tape, and when you go to fold it over, there's going to definitely be a line there. You don't want that to happen. And then you take your smaller scissors and you go in at the corners and you just cut diagonally up to the insert itself. The insert will basically stop your scissors. You don't, as long as you go slowly, you don't really have to worry that you're going to cut into your insert. It won't happen. Just go slowly. And again, another diagonal cut here. And again, the insert stops my scissors. I'll flip it over. And just fold it over. Now, you know, there is a bit of overlay with this tape here. You see. And so what you can do is go back and cut off this little triangle along the top. And you'll have just enough tape here in the corner to where it's going to hold it down on the inside of the cover. We're just cutting this little bit of triangle off that's under my finger. And this bit here is exposed adhesive, so it will hold down that corner. And then again, just as you did with the spine, begin in the middle. And as you fold the tape over, run your finger right along the edge, because you want that tape to be absolutely flush with the edge. You don't want there to be any clear overhang when you look at the cover of your insert. And then you go to the middle and just push it on over and slowly work out to both ends. Flatten it. It may not be absolutely perfect, but hey, you know, I do have a little bit of an overhang down here, but it's not a big deal. And there you go. There is your protected journal cover. And this is Nefer Kefri, the Positive Vibes artist. I'm linking to Little Joy of Bujo's Etsy shop below. Also, I have begun a Patreon. It is basically witchy and tarot oriented. I am going to start working in journaling into my Patreon. And the first journaling module I'll be posting is going to be Magical Moon Journaling, where we journal with the phases of the moon. So please do check out my Patreon, which is also linked below. And I am on Instagram at positive_vibes_artist. That is below as well, and I'll pop it on the screen. And I also have a couple of affiliate codes down below if you'd like a 10% discount at Archer and Olive. And also, announcing here for the first time, I've just become an ambassador with Ferris Wheel Press, and they sell inks, for fountain pens. And so I'm very excited about that. I'm expecting my first ambassador shipment anytime now, and they're supposed to send me my code. And once I get the code, I will add it to the description below, but it won't be there. Probably won't be there when I post the video, but it'll be coming, or just watch for it on Instagram. And I will surely be sharing it there. But there you are, your protected insert, which will last forever. And again, you can decorate the back and then do the same thing to the back. You know, laminate it with clear packaging tape. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you've thought. If there's anything you'd like to learn about, you know, in terms of arts and crafts or anything specific, let me know. Drop me a line, DM me on Instagram, or drop a comment here. I'd be so happy, you know, to get more ideas for videos. I'm always open for ideas, and I do all sorts of different things, you know. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and I wish you all a blessed day.